நம்ம வாயப்பட்டோம்னா இருக்குல்ல.
Nghĩ
Hello, Pita madam, are you there? Hello, Pita madam.
Begin the program.
Pita madam, are you there? Yes. Actually, our first speaker, Dr. Soile sir, is joining soon, and after that, Sarika madam is also there. Okay, she will be joining soon also.
Okay, sir. Please let me know when to begin.
Yes. Soile sir already joined. Please check. Okay.
Should I begin, sir?
Yes, second speaker, Sarika madam.
Okay, then we'll wait for her.
Wait for a few minutes. Let them join all the audience. Then we'll start. Okay, na?
Okay.
Okay. And
Very
all the
good
audience
afternoon.
have been told that yes, sir. Good afternoon. All the audience have been told that today's joining link as well as the YouTube link also given to your mail. So please share it and let others join as soon as possible because we will start the program. Okay. Hello. I hope all are audible. Hello. Okay.
We are audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Prita madam, you can start. And Soiles sir also there. Sir, are you there? Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Prita
Am I
madam.
audible?
Please.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this second day of the 2 weeks entrepreneur development workshop on innovation in technology leading to entrepreneurship. We are here in the second day of the program. Yesterday, we had 3 speakers who enlightened us on innovation and entrepreneurship. Today, we have 2 speakers for the day, Dr. Sailesh Iyer and Dr. Sarika Lohana. Our first speaker of the day, Dr. Sailesh Iyer, serving as a professor with Rai University, Ahmedabad, has more than 22 years of experience in academics, industry, and corporate training. He is involved as an editor for various projects in USA, UK, and UAE and has delivered more than 67 expert talks. His research contribution includes reputed publications, track chair at reputed international and national conferences, and reviewer of several international journals. Sir is the member of Computer Society of India, serving as in the managing committee. Please welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Can I start with my presentation?
Yes, sir. Please begin.
I hope my slide is visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Fine. Okay, so I'm going to talk about, rather share my views about an topic which is very close to my heart, because entrepreneurship opportunities in science and technology. We have been running the SSIP cell as well as the IIC unit at Rai University, and we have done a lot of work towards this. So right now the focus areas are science and technology, where how we can create entrepreneurs out of whatever educational qualification regarding science and technology. Earlier, entrepreneurship was the forte of only management students. Now we are seeing a lot of change in that, and slowly and surely we are seeing a lot of entrepreneurs coming out of technological fields. And the average age, there was a survey done, the average age of entrepreneurs in science and technology is between 20 and 25 years. So it's a very young age to start with, and I think so this will actually fuel such workshops will fuel the hunger in those students, and the faculties who are a part of this workshop will be guiding those students towards this particular entrepreneurship venture in the future. So when I'm talking about entrepreneurship, actually, I would like to start with something that is a social message, or you can say a social objective, which is given here, which is the Sustainable Development Goals. Now, there's a universal agenda for this, which consists of 17 particular points or 17 particular goals, which are identified and which are placed for following as far as sustainability is concerned. I would just read out quickly the 17 of them, and then we'll move on to our actual presentation of how to achieve this. First of all, end poverty, and in all its forms everywhere. Now, there's a huge imbalance between the rich and the poor. Those who are poor are very poor, and those who are rich are actually too rich. So the first goal is to end poverty in all its forms everywhere. So that is one goal where we can think about how we can contribute towards the social cause by means of entrepreneurship using science and technology. Second goal is end hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. Now, the whole focus of governments right now, whether it's the central government or the state governments, have been towards improving the kind of sustainable solutions in terms of smart farming or smart agriculture, as well as smart villages. So earlier it used to happen that we are talking about only smart cities, where we have automation in all the things that we are doing, starting from healthcare to infrastructure. Everything was coming under the smart city gambit. Now we are looking at an area where we are focusing upon smart villages, sustainable agriculture, because one big problem with villagers are facing is that farmers, their sons and daughters are not ready to continue with the farming. So there can be a solution that where we can have some kind of sustainable agriculture or sustainable solutions to make the villages self-sufficient, so that farmers or their family do not have to, or their sons and daughters do not have to move out of the villages and come to the cities. So this is one important criteria, an important goal which we have laid down, that we want everybody to have food, and we want to improve the nutrition and also promote sustainable agriculture. So this is something which is a very big task, and a lot of work is being done right now also by big companies as well as NGOs as well as government. It is the role of the institutes or the universities now to go ahead and work in this domain. We have started working on some projects regarding this, where we are looking at agricultural solutions and also rural education. So how we can use robotics in rural education, that is one aspect which we are working upon. So that is goal number 2. Goal number 3 is ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. Now, this is particularly true in this particular COVID situation, where we have seen that we have uh, been neglecting healthcare for decades, and now healthcare is one of the main objectives of any budget or any government, whether it is central or state government. So we want to, okay, there are a lot of people joining still. So we want to ensure healthy lives. So we want a kind of a lifestyle related devices being promoted. Uh, like there is some background noise, I think. So somebody is unmuted.
I request the participants to please mute yourselves. Please continue, sir.
Yeah. So ensuring healthy lives here means that in the last 2 years, if I just observe the earlier trend and now the trend right now, in this approximately 2 years, we have seen a huge change in the mentality of people towards the healthcare sector or healthcare awareness. They have become more prone or more, they are really, uh, they are related to a healthcare sector, and they want their healthcare related scenario to improve. So a lot of steps are being taken by individuals also for this. Like I'll give you a few examples that earlier when I used to go for a morning walk, I used to see very few people in the park or in the garden walking. Now you have a lot of people going for cycling with their families. So there's a huge awareness ratio, and a lot of people have now stopped taking cars for short distances, and they are going by walk or going by cycling. So they are doing some kind of exercise to improve their immunity. Yoga, pranayam, all this is being practiced. So these are all the changes that is occurring due to the COVID situation right now. Now, what I am talking about really here is the healthcare challenges as far as the devices are concerned, where technological devices can guide the change in the healthcare sector. Also, we are looking at immunity boosters. We are looking at solutions where probably we'll have a lot of changes coming in the way the healthcare sector as a whole is functioning. Like suppose earlier we used to have healthcare basically being governed by only doctors and nurses. Now we are slowly replacing robots in this particular way. So you can have humanoid robots which are taking the role of doctors, and doctors only have to intervene when the situation is too bad. That means the patient is too serious. Otherwise, through IoT, robotics, and machine learning, a lot of solutions can be provided in the healthcare sector. So this is one goal where a lot of work is being done right now. A lot of startups are there, a lot of devices are there. There are a lot of wearable devices which can tell you your basic parameters, like what is your blood sugar, what is your BP, what is your heart rate, pulse, etc. All these things can be easily done by the wearable devices. So this is transforming the whole sector. Also, along with that, certain insurance companies are also coming up with a lot of such schemes where they are saying that, okay, if you have a daily so many steps you're walking in a year, this many steps should be walked by you, then we'll be able to give you some kind of deduction in the premium so that you can get some benefit for your healthcare that you have taken. So these are all solutions which are slowly being worked out by companies, also by individuals, by scientists, by researchers. So goal 3 is right now the prime one on the agenda, and goal 3, lot of work is going on. Goal 4, we want equality and inclusive quality education. Now, quality education and promoting lifelong learning opportunities for all. Now, this is being done with the help of technology in a big way, because as I told you that right now we are looking at cheaper alternatives which can provide learning options at a very low rate and at the convenience of the learner. Like suppose I say that there are many schools in villages, and these schools are actually functioning, uh, I would not say very efficiently, but yeah, they are functioning. They have some teachers, but the teachers are given some jobs which are not related to teaching. They are into administration. They go to collect the details of the villagers who are COVID affected, whose healthcare is a problem. So all these things are being catered to now by the teachers. Now this is actually lowering the standard of learning in the students, because the students are, there was a survey done in 2018. This was before the COVID situation. In Gujarat, in particular, I would like to share the statistics that it was found that 80% of the government schools in villages, those students who were in fifth standard did not know basic mathematics of addition, etc. And some students did not know how to pronounce certain words like fruits, etc. So this was a big problem which was faced by the school teachers, and that's why government has focused upon this area, and a lot of changes are coming on in this towards promoting inclusive and equitable quality education. So one of the alternatives is, as I told you, humanoid robots being installed in schools, and that can be a lot of connectivity issues. That is a major challenge right now which is being worked out. But otherwise, if the connectivity issue is sorted out, then this robot can be a very good option going forward. The only concern here was the cost, because I have a project also which we have submitted to Gujkos right now for funding also, which is on rural education, humanoid robots using rural education. So in this, what we are finding is that the cost of a humanoid robot is very, I mean, if you find a robot giving a lot of functionalities which we have earmarked for the students, then it would cost anywhere between 5 to 20 lakhs per robot, right? Now that is quite costly. Now there are some alternatives which are being worked out. Like there was a robot prepared by a villager in a village teacher in a particular village in India, which cost hardly 50,000 rupees. It was built out of e-waste. So if such alternatives are coming up, we can look at such alternative opportunities which can actually lower the cost and which can increase the kind of outreach that we can have due to this particular cost reduction. So this is fourth goal, that is ensure inclusive and equitable quality education. A lot of work is going on in this domain also. Goal 5 is where we are achieving gender equality and empower all women and girls. For this particularly, certain schemes in science and technology are being introduced by the government for particularly development of girls, for scientists. Certain scientist posts are also reserved for women candidates. So a lot of equality related issues are being sorted out. But again, it's a collective approach where we are looking at a lot of employment opportunities for women in the sector of science and technology, innovation, entrepreneurship, etc. So this is probably one goal which needs to be worked upon a lot. Goal 6 is ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Again, here water management is a huge challenge. Water management is a huge challenge because, as per a survey conducted, it says that by 2025, basic amenities, we will be not having water. So, Save Water campaign is going on. A lot of NGOs, a lot of institutions, a lot of celebrities have jumped into that. They are doing some awareness campaigns, but it needs to be more than these awareness campaigns. For this water sustainability and water management and sanitation, we need to look at alternatives like smart meter management for waters, or you can say smart water management, where we can have meters installed, because most of the water is being wasted. Now, this waste of water is actually a crime right now, because what is happening is that even if we don't require, the tap is always on, and there may be leakage in the tap, there may be leakage in plumbing solutions which are not being worked out. So this smart water management meter can look at all these solutions and can give house wise how much water consumption is there on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, on a half hourly basis. So all these solutions can be provided, and the society people can also monitor, as well as the house owner can monitor how much water is being consumed by his particular house in that particular day, in that particular number of hours. It may happen that there's a leakage in the tap, they don't know about it, or the house is locked and still the water is being consumed. Then there can be some identification done and preventive maintenance can be done. So these are all the issues which can deal with this. And I think so water management can also be a challenge as far as sanitation is concerned, because right now we find that the public uh, washrooms, or we can say the public toilets, are not being properly maintained in a hygienic way. So we can have IoT which can do the work of, we can have sensors attached to the toilets, we can have magic toilets which can work uh, for this, and which can give some solutions. So again, smart water management, sanitation, hygiene, all this can be clubbed into this goal, and technology can work properly towards achieving this goal. I would like to say that on Shark Tank, I saw one of the entrepreneurs who had come up with, in fact, I think so, one or two people were there who had come up with such a solution of a portable loo. It was said, actually what happens is that it is a small portable device uh, which can be carried with you. It can be very useful for children, also for elderly citizens who have some problems related to prostrate, etc. They are not able to control their urge. Then for them, actually, this kind of solution can be worked out, where the person can have a small compartment in which he can pass, and there's a bag uh, manufactured by that person. In that bag, as soon as the urine is passed, immediately it gets solidified, and it can be it will not be smelling also, it will not be spreading any odor, also bad odor. So this all issues have been dealt with, and this particular device can be this portable, you can say, loose sort of thing that can be managed properly. If it is done on a bulk, the manufacturing cost can also come down. So this is a huge way of developing sanitation and hygienic solutions for all. And I think so this should be particularly useful for the younger generation, the children, as well as the elderly, that is the senior citizens. It will be a boon for them. So these are all issues which we are talking about in goal number 6. Then goal number 7 is to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. Now this is smart energy management. Here we talk about recycling also of waste management, all these things, and how energy can be fueled in a sustainable manner. So recycling can also be a big part of this. Green energy can be a domain which can be built in. A lot of work is going on, a lot of research is going on in this direction. And I think so some entrepreneurs have come up with alternative fuels and alternative energy solutions. So this can be also a game changer going ahead. Alternative fuel solutions can be worked out. So goal 8 consists of promoting sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth. where we actually provide a sustainable lifestyle or a decent lifestyle for all and decent work for all, so that people are not actually doing such jobs which are not healthy enough for them. That there are some health hazards in that, like there can be some coal mining going on. So people who are laborers who are working there, they are not safe enough. They can contract some diseases. Similarly, the workers who are the you can say the sanitization workers, they are actually collecting all the garbage from different societies, from different localities, from different industries, etc. So they are exposed to a lot of risk regarding this. So there can be some kind of mechanism where we can have either some wearable devices which can safeguard them, or they can be promoted to monitor this collection of the garbage, and we can have robots doing the work of collecting the garbage and separating it into these things. So separating into dry and wet waste, etc. So all these things can be worked out, and sustainable economic growth can also be provided. Skill building can take place among those people who are working as laborers, and they can really look at a better lifestyle. So this is the eighth goal which we are talking about. Here also technology can play a very important role. Goal 9 is build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization to foster innovation. Now, when we were actually studying, the main problem is that we had some ideas, but we did not have the funding. And due to that, actually, we had to approach the banks. I remember that when I had put a proposal for something new at that time, I was in my graduation stage, and the bank asked me for a surety, saying that how can we actually believe that you'll be able to do this. So I needed an amount of around 10 lakhs at that time, and that 10 lakhs was required, but then it was not funded because they say that you don't have a track record of this particular domain, or you don't have a business background. Now, this was the reason why my this was rejected. So again, here we are looking at innovation atmosphere where innovation is being promoted. So a lot of governments, central government has a different policy for that. State governments are promoting SSIP in a big way. IICs are being promoted from the central government side. So Ministry of Information Technology, MHRD department, all these are very much active right now in uh, giving such an ecosystem which can actually promote handholding, incubation, and also angel investors can be brought in at the right time. So this kind of infrastructure support is being built up. Still, a lot of things need to be done, but probably we can see that those students who in the age of 20 to 25 are now being supported in a big way, and they are being promoted in such projects which may not be successful also, but still they are given a chance to prove themselves. That is probably a game changer which I see going forward. Goal number 10 is reduce inequality within and among countries. Now this is not directly in the hands of one particular individual, but here governments can work in sync, and we can have uh, solutions being developed for such countries which are not developed, which are underdeveloped by developed countries. So here we are slowly removing the inequality, and the same thing, hunger in some countries we have a lot of malnutrition problems. So how can that be solved? There's a lot of problems related to skilled manpower. So how can that be solved? So this inequality can be removed with the help of solutions provided in this direction. Goal number 11 is make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. So here I would like to say that it is a part of smart city where we are including safety as a primary criteria. So right now, when I'm talking about cyber security in particular, I'm talking about a smart city which requires all the mechanisms to safeguard itself against hacking, against fraud, etc. So physical crimes are comparatively decreasing, but digital crimes are increasing. So how to face this digital crimes? Like there have been many incidents recently where you are asked for the OTP, uh, you get a message regarding booster dose being given to your family members, and then when there is a call from that person, or if you click on that link, it generates an OTP, and that OTP is asked for by some other person. So when you give that OTP, then there is a lot of fraud happening due to that. The amount from your bank account is actually debited. So all these things is taking place. So this is again where we are looking at solutions which can make our human beings who are settled in cities much more safe. Similarly for villages also. So we want a healthy lifestyle, we want a safe lifestyle, we want a prolonged medical facilities for making a prolonged life a sustainable solution. We don't want people to be having lifestyle related diseases. So all this can be covered in this particular goal number 11. Goal number 12 is ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. We want the production, logistics, everything to be moving in tandem with the supply that is required. The demand that is being generated, that should be met. So all these are issues which can be dealt with, where we have IoT, blockchain, and machine learning combined into, uh, you can say, supply chain or logistic solutions. So we are having manufacturing related issues, like we are having additive manufacturing or smart manufacturing is going on. So a lot of issues are there which can be tackled through this. So goal number 12 is being maintained by from the engineering front. We are looking at engineering solution to solve all these problems. And engineering includes science and technology both. Goal number 13 is take urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. Now, this is a big uh, field for research which is wide open, because a lot of opportunities are there and a lot of challenges are also there, and very few people have worked on this domain up till now. So climate change is very evident right now. One day you have uh, this quite cold in the mornings. The second day in the afternoon it may be quite cold. Third day in the afternoon it may be cold. In the morning it may be hot. So these all changes are coming. It may rain at any time. So all these changes are coming um, unexpectedly. Cyclones, disasters, they are being repeated. So these are all issues related to climate change and how to combat it, how to provide solutions for that. So here science can play an important role and technology can supplement in implementing those solutions. So this is urgent and this action needs to be taken. So a lot of work needs to be done on this front. And these are sustainable game changers which can really improve the way the whole ecosystem can function in the future. Goal number 14 is conserve and sustainably use the oceans. That is again water management as far as sea and oceans are concerned, because right now there are a lot of creatures living, fish and different water marine creatures living in the water, and they are not safe as far as the environment is concerned. There's a lot of pollution. There are a lot of other challenges which they are facing. So how do we face this challenge? Because I remember seeing some documentaries in the media, in some news channels during the lockdown, first phase of lockdown, that in those 2 months of lockdown, the entire the sea water was looking pure, and when it was tested, the purity level had gone up considerably. So it is human beings who are responsible for the pollution here. It's just human beings who are contaminating the water. They are not using it properly. They are not knowing their responsibilities. So how can we, promote science and technology to solve this problem? That's again a big challenge going forward. And this is one thing which can be done and which is the need of the hour. And goal number 15 is protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems. Forest needs to be conserved. We are looking at biodegradable land degradation is going on. Diversification requires. We need to stop the diversity loss that we are having at different places. So for this also a lot of NGOs, governments and all are functioning, but we need to protect the environment. We need to protect the forest. So for this, we need to provide some solutions which can use technology and science and technology to some good aspect And also there are a lot of challenges here because the land of forests is slowly decreasing. That is leading to a problem where those animals, wild animals, are coming into the villages or into the cities where the encroachment has taken place, and that is affecting the safety of individuals also. So ecosystem where we can have sustainable living, like there are some areas in India where you can find that the villagers are quite comfortable. uh, Even if the tiger is around, even if the lion is around, they are not actually scared because they are living together over there. So such kind of solutions need to be promoted. And how to conserve forest, how to deal with this problem, that is a major challenge. Goal number 16 is promote use peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development. We provide justice. That means we should have redressal mechanisms which are effective enough. For that, technology can play a very important role, wherein people can report their grievances very easily. There are some platforms provided for that, so that can be a major game changer going ahead. Last one, goal number 17, is strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. Now, here again, we need global partnerships because we may not be having all the resources, not any country may be having all the resources to maintain sustainability in the entire ecosystem. So, if the collaboration is there, it will help a lot in changing this whole domain. Now, I would just pause here. If any queries regarding these 17 goals or how we can move forward, any queries that I can just answer, and then we can move forward. 1 or 2 minutes, we can take questions if there are any. You can either unmute or you can.
I would request the participants if they have any questions.
Okay, I think there are no questions. Okay, so I'll just move forward. Now, why I started with this particular 17 sustainable development goals, because this is very much required right now. And as faculties who are teaching in reputed institutions, we need to take up this challenge and we need to see that we can get some projects done, we can get some technological solutions for these problems to be solved. So we should be aware about this. That is the reason why I started with this particular slide, because normally entrepreneurship is uh, mostly related to business, but it is not useful if it is not related to the sustainable development goals, or it is not useful in any way to the society. So this is the importance of the slide that I've shared right now. Now coming to this science and technology, basically it can be covered into different terms like science, technology, inventions, technological progress, everyday use of modern technology, and pitfalls of using modern tech in life. Whenever you're talking about science and technology, there's always a huge advantage coming out of it. At the same time, there are some pitfalls also. The pitfalls is that our lifestyle gets addicted to this, right? Right now, I remember that there was a situation where one of the riots took place in one of the states, and during that time, the internet connectivity was actually stopped for 1 day or so. Only those people who were having the um, Wi-Fi connection were allowed to this. Otherwise, mobile internet was banned. So due to that, actually, uh, there were a lot of people who faced a lot of problems in communication. They were the genuine people, but there were a lot of people, a lot of students who were complaining, saying that 1 day without internet is impossible. So this is the addiction which we are talking about. When I asked the students what was the output out of that, I mean, what in 1 day, what do you do with the internet? And they were saying that we watching movies online, we talk or chat with friends. Uh, Nothing as such productive coming out of it. Okay, I'm not saying watching movies is a bad thing, but Of course, there should be some productive use of internet also. So again, here technology has its own benefits as well as uh, pitfalls also. So this is again where we need to look at. Now, these are things which we cannot imagine our life without. These are some devices which we have got addicted to, right? The same thing, I mean, we have been joking a lot that schools and colleges were earlier banning mobiles in colleges when they were working offline. Now the same schools and colleges are operating or teaching through online methods using a mobile only. So mobile is now mandatory for this particular item. So teaching is a different fraternity altogether. But when we are looking at these all solutions, these are all some devices which we have got addicted to, which we are using on a day-to-day basis. So we cannot do without that. These are the inventions which have given us a lot of fuel going forward from the time they were invented. So whether it is a wheel, train, telephone, bulb, all these things have been inventions. I remember using this when I was in school, this kind of a system where I used this floppy drive also. This actually was called a 1.44 MB floppy. The bigger one was 1.2 MB floppy drive. So I've used this floppy. I used to copy some small programs developed in COBOL, etc. onto this. Sometimes it may happen that one particular entire program may not fit. We had to separate it into different programs. We had to copy it into different floppies. So that was the storage capacity which we were talking about earlier, 1.2 and 1.44 MB floppy drives. Right. Right now we are one one TB is also comparatively less because we are having a lot of data usage right now. So this is the impact science and technology inventions had on mankind. But we can't forget all this because this is from where we have actually learned a lot of things. Now you see the kitchen, there are a lot of gadgets in the kitchen which actually operate the kitchen or make it a smart kitchen, and you don't have to do a lot of things in the kitchen which you had to do earlier. But that is making people lazy, and the also a lot of lifestyle related diseases are arising. Like you have a sugar problem, BP problem coming from very small age. The average age of blood pressure, high blood pressure among people due to the stress and the sedative lifestyle is 25 to 50 years. They are the most affected. Earlier it used to be that only people above 50 or 55 they develop blood pressure or they develop some sugar problem. Now it is the reverse. Now it is more in the younger age group that we are developing. So this is a reason of lifestyle. So are these gadgets making us somewhat uh, are they changing our habits, or are they making us addicted? That is what we have to look at. These are some inventions in medicines which have taken place. Healthcare I have covered because healthcare is a big sector which needs to go ahead. And in this COVID situation, we are facing a lot of challenges. Mental health is also a big challenge. So we can have some kind of devices or technology usage for that also. Request the participants to kindly mute themselves. This is the travel of the past on the left side, and the right side it is the traveling that we are having right now. Even though we say that there's a lot of recession, but we never find vehicles, the scarcity of vehicles on the road. There are always vehicles, and there's a huge traffic jam also many times. So if we are running out of fuel, what would be the mode of travel in the future? That is a question mark. So these are all things to ponder about. A lot of solutions can come out of science and technology if we work on these domains. But we have to keep our roots also known so that we can work towards the future. This was earlier being practiced, right? Horse cart, and now we have vehicles, and the vehicles are getting bigger day by day, right? you have 8-seaters, you have, so these preferred by the people, and you have bikes which are very costly, so they give a lot of status related messages to people. But anyhow, the fuel consumption is higher. So how to deal with this problem? That is one solution which we need to work out very soon. These are the negative aspects of using technology, that we are now addicted to people, addicted to a lot of problems like waste of money. We waste a lot of money on unnecessary luxury things. Also, mobiles is one important thing which is useful otherwise, but people keep on changing the handset every 6 months. A new handset is coming into the market, they purchase it. That is a waste of money, because unless you require the features which are there in that for your productive use, then it should be changed. Otherwise, it should not be changed. So technology is also leading to loss as far as human beings are concerned, waste of money, health problems, unemployment, because a lot of people are not developing skills but wasting their time on unproductive things, loneliness, and addiction. Uh, one particular experiment which we did, which a lot of colleges have done, and we have also done that, is that during COVID lockdown, when online classes were going on, we just shared a Google form with our students. We asked them that if you need any kind of counseling regarding any of the problems that you're facing related to lockdown, you can just call, fill this form, and you can select a slot. During that slot, our faculty who is handling the psychology department would be connected with you, and you can talk to them, because they could not come to the college during that time. So this found that we expected maybe 1 or 2 calls we may receive in a day, first day, but we received more than 10 calls from different people, different students of different streams, and they were sharing a lot of stories which we were not aware of. So we, like, loneliness was one of them, that they are not able to meet their friends. Addiction, they are addicted to mobile, so they want to move out of that. They can't do without mobile. They are not happy sitting at home with their family. They want to meet friends, they want to go out and eat. Some people were saying that we have not uh, had pizza for a long time, and we want to go to Domino's or any such chain. So these are all the issues which they were facing. Other than those who have lost their parents during COVID, or those who have been severely affected, or some people have also, some parents have lost their jobs. So all these were issues which were discussed, but other issues related to this technological advancements also were discussed. So these are the issues which we need to look at. Now, modern technologies, are they actually taking the real life from the people? So we can think of such solutions which provide some familiarity with the environment and some familiarity with the people around them. They should be knowing. Right now, what happens is that we have 200 groups on WhatsApp. We are connected with 20,000 people online, but we don't have a real friend in the true sense. So that is what needs to be looked at along with technology. Now, this is the future of science and technology. A lot of future domains are there. We have skyscrapers, we have automated buildings, we have these wheels which can provide you an illusion also. There are different devices which can be in the form of a tab, which can be in the form of a wearable watch. There can be different supply chain solutions which are automated, which are driverless cars, autonomous cars, you can say, or autonomous vehicles. We don't require people to drive them. So these are all the solutions which can be the future of innovation. This is a typical classroom which has become a modern classroom. So a lot of opportunities as far as education is concerned, because now students are not ready to take the traditional mode of education. They want modern things, they want images. Uh, it is said that during the first 7 minutes of any session, it can decide whether the student would be attending the entire session or not. So that is based on the entire concentration is on the only for the first 7 minutes. So this is again an issue which needs to be dealt with while we are teaching the students for schools, etc. So there's a huge spectacular development in science and technology. There's unparalleled economic growth, that is globalization, competition, innovation. A lot of changes are coming forward. There is uncontrolled exploitation of earth resources. So all these are giving us a transition phase which we need to do, and where science and technology can play a very important role. I've already talked about this, so I'll go a little bit fast here. This is the kind of domains where we have changed the technology, and technology has grown at a rapid pace. Scientific revolution, now we cannot say that technology is just related to some kind of coding languages. Now technology is everywhere. Technology is actually a problem solver, because whatever problem exists, technology can play an important role, and science can also play an important role along with technology to solving a lot of problems that have that in the real life. I'll just go a little bit fast here. Yeah. Now see, these are the issues. These are the solutions which we are looking at. Like, can anybody say whether we can have some solution for this? If you are an entrepreneur, how can you solve such a problem of poverty? There are some entrepreneurs who have started doing that, working in this fashion. How can we meet this imbalance? I've already talked about the different goals. There's a huge imbalance here. You can say that buildings are very much modern here. In the same vicinity, maybe 5 kilometers, you may have a slum like this. So how do we deal with this problem? Can we provide them something which can actually reduce this gap? Okay, the first phase is education. Education and food, these are the two things which can be given to these people such that they actually turn into better responsible human beings and start earning to meet their own ends. Like, I talk about education, what I mean here is not actually that these people you should go and directly start enroll them in schools. They will not find time for schools because they are working. Most of them are doing some or the other work and supporting their families, the children. Even for adults, we can have some education campaigns going on. We can give them some relatively small tabs, right? These tabs can have all the information on how to learn different things and how to deploy them in real life. So there can be a lot of uh, solutions which can be built up, which can give them a lot of change in their lifestyle. So this is one aspect which can be worked upon. We have NGOs working on it. We have a lot of for food actually in particular. We have some NGOs who are actually into this, where they collect all the leftover food from the restaurants, not the waste food, but leftover food from the restaurants, which people have not started eating, but they are just uh, have to be thrown every day. So that can be collected, and there's a app through which this can be sent to the locations where it is required. So these are issues where we can support, we can play a very important role in changing the whole dimension. And if they get some support, then these people will probably be working in these buildings and they'll be earning a lot of money for sustaining themselves. Same way here also, that we have a lot of PCs here, a lot of laptops, a lot of PCs, but then here there is a dearth of even small machine. So there's a whole big difference of perception here, how we deal with the things. And this is where I think so technology, science and technology can play a very important role. Environmental pollution, this is a huge challenge. Overconsumption, we are consuming a lot of uh, polluted air. And in Delhi, they have come up with a innovative solution for this, wherein they have a purifying helmet. This helmet is costed around 4,000 rupees or 3,000 rupees something. There are different variants actually, starts from 3,000 rupees. And that 3,000 rupees helmet has a air purifier through which you can have pure oxygen being inhaled by you. Second thing is that it has an inbuilt charger, so your mobile can be charged. There are a lot of solutions like if you want your mobile uh, to be lifted when you are actually driving the bike, etc., then there is nothing. You have to just touch the button on the helmet and it will be lifted and you can talk to anybody. You don't need to stop anywhere and you need to attend that call. So all these are features which have made this helmet very much in demand. So here we are looking at these solutions now. How can pollution be decreased? That is a major challenge, and a lot of debate has been going on in India and abroad also regarding this. And this environment pollution or degradation can actually play a very important role for the coming generations, because coming generations would not be having pure air. They may not realize what is it. Like I can see the difference between when I was studying at that time when I used to go to school. We had an open environment. We had pollution very less. Now for my daughter, more flats are there. We had tenements earlier, now more flats are there, so we don't have that much greenery around. We have a lot of pollution. We don't have parking space, so that's a huge problem which actually deals with the number of vehicles increasing. So how can we deal with it? How can we have a system such that the pollution can be reduced? The vehicle use cannot be controlled, but can the pollution be reduced? Can the vehicles have such kind of mechanism wherein that pollution can be decreased? The emissions can be pollution free. So that is something which can be worked out, and there are a lot of scientists working in this domain. There are a lot of technologies being developed for this, but we need cheaper solutions which can be managed properly. This is one more thing where this is the waste which we have. Now, how do we deal with this waste? How can waste management play an important role here? We can have technology playing a very important role. We can use humanoid robots, or you can say small devices which can actually be used as a robotic arms or underarms, which can be used to collect the garbage from these locations, separate it, classify it into different types of garbage, then send it for recycling, and then after recycling again check the quality of that particular product. So this is something which can be done, and this is a huge problem in India which we are looking at, and there are a lot of solutions which can be provided over here. As I told you, this is one more big waste that is being generated. This is called e-waste, or you can say computer waste. We are using a lot of gadgets, mobiles, etc., especially laptops, computers, etc. And after a certain life, they are of no use. Either they may become obsolete because the storage capacity or facilities are not being provided by that particular system, or it may be that there are new models available, so we shift to new models. So old models are scrapped. When they are scrapped, actually they are just being thrown somewhere. Now that is hazardous for the people who are picking those computers from somewhere else. Also, how do we deal with this? Can we recycle it? Can we do something to make it more productive? So this is an area where a lot of ample opportunities exist, because this waste can be used very productively going forward. So how do we deal with this problem? That is again providing a big entrepreneurship opportunity. So science can do a lot of things to make things sustainable. The science role is that it can, along with other knowledge streams, like it can be commerce, it can be technology, all these domains can be clubbed with each other, and then sustainable development solutions can be worked out. So earlier what happened is that say I would just like to take you back a few decades. We used to see science as a separate subject. Pure science was ultimately a separate subject. Applied science was separate. They were not connected anywhere with any other particular areas. But now you will find that this classification is slowly diminishing. They are now connected with all the areas. Suppose if I talk about something related to a nano fertilizer or a gypsum related problem, I can easily bring technology inside that science related problem and solve it. So now technology is not separate, science is not separate. They can be gelled together to bring out some proper use case out of it and proper use out of it. So this is where we are looking at science as a solution for all these problems. So we are looking at values, methods, products, and from society angle, we are looking at acceptability of those products, equity, and sustenance. So if we have a cohabitation of this, then science should be responsible, transparent, and understand the implication of new discoveries in the context of moral and ethical values and sustainability of our planet. So our goals are sustainability of planet, and it should also be able to cater to the moral and ethical values of the society. It should not happen that it is doing something, science and technology is promoting something which is harming the society at large. And society should be normally taking up the new advancements in technology and trying to implement it. So this is what natural science is all about, and we need to move much forward from this. So this is what we need to follow here: science plus society plus policy. We need to define a policy using technology, of course. We need to eradicate poverty. That is the first step. We need to secure the environment. So these two should be done concurrently, because these are all very important areas where we need to work upon. We can create an inclusive world if we are dealing with science, society, and policy together. Then that can lead to sustainable development, and then that can lead to a peaceful planet. So this is the goal, entire goal of way to adapt science and technology and entrepreneurship. There are a lot of global scientific challenges also: genetic research, climate change, energy, environment. All these are parameters where a lot of challenges are involved. See, there have been a lot of diseases being communicated. The latest example, this is of 2006, but latest example, I do not want to name any country, but we know the origin of COVID and from where it has come, how it has been transmitted. So we are looking at all these challenges. These are some natural hazards which have been displayed. Actually, these are natural hazards which have taken place, starting from all these disturbances that have taken place, tsunami, that can be Katrina, there are different names have been given for that. But that cannot be prevented, but we can prevent some kind of man-made hazards like oil spills, mining, plane crash, explosions, deforestation, traffic, etc. So how can we build a solution towards this? I would like to focus upon because these are some issues which are not that much common. Explosions are not common. Mining is somewhat not that common, I would say. Oil spills and plane crash also occurs sometimes only. But traffic and deforestation, these two are regularly occurring problems. So how do we deal with the traffic problem? How do we solve it? How do we do our traffic management? For that, we need to have control over different uh, devices and different vehicles, and we need to have some kind of connectivity between them, and how then we need to report to some particular point where the traffic can be observed, monitored, and then they can be diverted to different locations so the traffic management is done in a better manner. This is a big challenge here, and a lot of image processing can also be used into this. Greenhouse effect, this is a huge response that we require immediately regarding the greenhouse effect. Global warming and climate change are typical problems which we are facing. Now, you see that there are some flowers, butterflies, insects, some animals which have become extinct. We also want ourselves to be part of this. We don't want to be extinct, but we are facing a lot of challenges here. There are a lot of human being related problems, aging problems, lifestyle related problems. So how do we deal with this, and how do we control the or stop the particular flow of this particular diseases from spreading? So this is something which we can look at in terms of medical advancements and how lifestyle can be improved. So that can be an issue which we can look at. So everyone has aspirations and everyone is vulnerable, but we need to move forward. Now, for science, actually, some wish list which I have really listed here is that we need to have a new learning system. Now, here I'm talking about schools, right? I'm looking at the entire problem, because in schools, I'm not blaming any particular schools or teachers for that, but overall, our school system, educational system, has been such that we have been taught science from an angle of cramming. We have not been taught science from an angle of understanding and applying. So this is the reason why there are less scientists being generated. People who are taking science are either going to become engineers or doctors, but they never become scientists. The reason is that they have not got science as a flavor. They have not got it. They have not enjoyed it. They have done it by compulsion. So our new learning system, as per the NEP, should be of a holistic nature, where knowledge is the criteria center point, and applying that knowledge to solve current problems. That should be the focus. Universal science and technology literacy should be the goal. We need to take this challenge nearby villages. I say that even if one particular university adopts 5 villages for science and technology, it can be a big game changer going forward, and this will lead to a lot of solutions that we can find. Reinventing science education, how you are actually teaching science, that's a huge challenge. Same way for technology also, because right now technology also, most of the students are not comfortable with the projects that they have been performing. So we have tried to implement projects from our second year onwards of BTech, so that they are focusing upon this. Scientific temper for the world, that we need to have some scientific related temper to be generated. There should be hunger from within the belly, which actually ignites this temper. The sustainability science for every citizen, and a borderless view of science. Science is right now related to a particular domain only, but science is borderless actually, just like technology has no bounds. Similarly, science also does not have any kind of boundary. So human sensitivity index, I have just termed this word for every scientist. That should be there. That human sensitivity index means how much sensitive science can be made by the scientist towards the human. How can it solve the problems for the human being? So that leads to a human sensitivity index, and that should be high. So a problem can be solved at the level at which it was created. So that is the whole goal of having this science. Now, these are the components which we actually need to develop in terms of creativity. We need to have domain relevant skills. We need to have creative processes being defined and managed. And intrinsic task motivation should be there, where we have some tasks which are allocated and that needs to be completed within the deadline. So stages in creative thought, I've just tried to summarize some of the aspects here. Preparation, incubation, insight, evolution, and elaboration. So these are the 5 topics which we should be focusing upon to develop creative thought. So we have already talked a lot about entrepreneurship and how science and technology can be useful for that. But innovation is the buzzword, right? Innovation is something where you are trying to add some newness and value to the existing product or to the existing problem, and you're trying to solve it using this steps. So that is basically called innovation. So it can be technology driven, or it can be design driven, or both. Both can be done at the same time. Degree of newness can be any radical innovation, incremental innovation. There are two types of incremental innovation, radical innovation, where you're changing something totally. You're proposing a totally new product which is not connected to the old one. So that is a radical innovation. And incremental innovation, where we are looking at improving something in such a manner that previous step it can be improved, the performance can be improved some by some degree, and small changes done in the existing setup. So that is incremental innovation. So according to uh, people, actually, this was a question asked, and some people gave a particular answer, but this was long back. Now the whole things have changed. I would just like to present the change one. Innovation is something which was new to the world. That was 10%. Right now, it is 80 to 90% are existing products being modified. And cost reduction is now increased to 85%. That means presently, if you survey, people term innovation as a cost reduction exercise and the design uh, improvement exercise. And this cost reduction should be at least 85%. 85% people feel that cost reduction is leading to innovation. Now, creating new meaning with new innovation. So this is something which again plays a very important role here. We are creating some new meaning with new innovation. There was a small innovation which was, again, I would like to share, wherein a device was found out which can actually predict what is the fruit uh, stage at which it can be consumed. Like there was a suppose we buy fruits and vegetables. Now fruits in particular we can't actually cut and buy every fruit. So how do we know whether the fruit is ripe, or is it proper to eat, or is it raw? So for that we have to normally go by the shopkeeper or by the people who are selling it. Now, in this particular experiment, there was a device which was developed with the help of AI, and which had sensors, which actually, if we keep on a fruit, within a few seconds, it will tell you whether it will give an indication whether it is green or yellow, a light would come, or red. Now, if it is green, it means that the fruit is ideal to eat within next 2 to 3 days or 4 days. So it can be consumed within the next week. But if I say that a particular fruit, if that device is kept on that fruit and it is showing a red symbol, that means it's already ripe. So there have been a lot of experiments conducted, lot of inventions which have been innovations which have been done, and it has been found that this method is working fine. So this can be a boon for all those people who are selling fruits, vegetables, etc., which cannot be opened and seen. So this is something which are game changers. So here, style, innovation, everything can be combined along with the utility. Existing concepts can be revolutionized. We can have, like, earlier we used to have postcards. Now we have different uh, changes coming in onto that. Now we have different chatting methods, so we don't need to send any postcard or any written document to anybody. Everything is online, everything is using different social media platforms. But not all innovations are successful. So we are not able to commercialize certain innovations. When I mean we are not able to commercialize the innovations, what I mean by is that it is either not accepted by the market, or we are not able to price it in such a manner that they can be accepted by the market. So these are all some examples here where this kind of innovations, some innovations have been tried which are not been successful because they have not been commercialized properly. So it needs innovation also needs that the invention should be fine. That science and technology part, I agree. That science and technology should be fine. It should be used to the optimum. But along with that, along with the invention, you should also have a commercial angle of how to market it, how to price it. So all these things are also equally important. Where I think so, technical people are falling a little bit back on that domain. So we need to have this also being implemented in a major way, where we are having invention, we are having technology and science, and equally we are looking at the commercializing the thing also. Some innovative trends have not been successful because of societal problems also. The society has not been able to accept these kind of fashion trends. So again, you have to look at the social and ethical angle also, and then you need to push the products. So this is the entrepreneurial process that I was talking about. We have entrepreneurship is a mix of, it may be a firm, individual, environment, and there are opportunities. That opportunities have to be grabbed, and then uh, according to the cost, the solution has to be provided. So this is all we have already talked about. I would just skip some slides here. So this can be again working clothes for mining workers are not existing. So if you're focusing upon that, that will not have that much market. But yeah, first pair of jeans had a huge market and still it's going on. This is the role of environment entrepreneurship, where we have environment. We have a lot of ambiguity in the environment. So your innovation should be able to meet that ambiguity in the environment. That should be there's a lot of competition also. So how do you deal with that competition? How you price your product? How, what kind of features you give? Either you give a lot of additional features, then the price can be kept affordable or a little bit higher. That can be a premium charge covered if the use cases are more. But otherwise, if the use cases are not that much, then the pricing has to be lower. So this is the environment of the competition that we are facing. Any firm and individual can have the aspirations, they can have the resources, and they can uh, build innovative processes. They can identify the tasks which can give them better opportunities, and then allow others to choose from a alternatives which according to the outcomes that are required. So these are all how entrepreneurship is being followed. Now, this is all what I was talking about earlier, so I'm not again spending that much time on that. Screening of an opportunity is very important, especially for the students. Right now, the students are coming up with a lot of projects during our SSIP presentations. So how do we screen those projects? So that is very important. So while you're screening, you are looking at industry and the market overall. So those who are screening, especially the faculties who are a part of this session, they should be able to identify that, okay, a particular product is being proposed by some students. We have to look at the industry and market, how they are, whether they are too competitive. If they are too competitive, then there's no point in pitching that product, because there is no output coming out, productive output coming out of it. Economics is very important, that what is the cost factor and are people ready to pay for that product or not. Harvest issues, whether if there are any kind of problems which may arise at a later stage when you're the harvest stage. Competitive advantage issues, are you having some advantage over your, like if you have already patented your product, then that's an advantage, nobody else can be in that domain. Management team, is the management team proper or not, or are they not having any kind of experience? Are they backed by some people who can lead the team? Fatal flaws, have any particular flaws occurred earlier which they have tried, in which they have committed a mistake, and how they can prevent that mistake? So that also can be seen, so that while screening the proposal, that can be mentioned to the applicant. Personal criteria, that like a criminal history or any such kind of problem should not be there. And strategy differentiation, what differentiates your product from other products, so that should be clear. So that screening is being done. Disruptive business models are that we are having emerging technology and innovation processes, which is creating a value for your proposal, value for your project. Lower performance related problems are there. Simplicity is that they are simple devices which are being built up and given to the user. Lower profit margin, but huge, you can say, turnover. That is the focus of any innovative product for an entrepreneur that is required. So these are all again some solutions which can be worked out. I've already talked about many of them in the earlier sustainable goals, but we have to keep this pan India smart solutions in mind when we are going or proposing any solutions for these. Robotics is a big game changer going ahead. So technology front, I would say IoT, robotics, AI, machine learning, and deep learning. I would like to combine it into an AI umbrella. Cloud computing, blockchain, all these are game changers which can focus upon changing the dimensions in the future. Some this is a toilet cleaner, which is a VR robot, virtual reality robot, which is actually taking care about the toilet cleaning aspect. Garbage sorting robots. These are all already things that have been implemented. Just we are waiting for the cost to come down so that they can be implemented in Indian market in a big way. For farmers, this can be agri-bots. They don't need to go to the farm. These already we have seen at various places. We don't need to touch the hand dispensers. Waste management solutions. How do we go about it? IoT related, machine learning related, root detection algorithms are implemented here. So a lot of issues are being taken care of as far as waste management is concerned. So very soon we will be not having that traditional way of waste collection where we have a van coming with a person standing on top of it, and he or she is collecting all the garbage and at risk to contracting various diseases and pollution also. So this can be avoided. So this is a future farms, and the farmer is sitting here monitoring all the um, his farm activities, where there are autonomous vehicles, agri-boats are there, and you have autonomous vehicles here, like this tractor is being not having a driver, it is being autonomously driven. And here you have cattle who are having actually RFID tags, so they release a lot of data which is being monitored by the farmer sitting in his office. So this is a office sort of thing, or his house where from where he is monitoring all the things. Drones are there which are giving a picture of or which are doing the tasks that a farmer can avoid, like maybe spraying fertilizers, a lot of things. So this is again which we are farmer is getting the entire view of the farm sitting on his desktop or laptop, and he can manage entire things. So this is the change that we are going to see in the future. And here entrepreneurship, innovation, science and technology all are going to play a very important role. So we should not be limiting ourselves. And I would just like to end the presentation by saying the comments which I normally place at the end of every presentation is stay socially connected, but observe physical distancing. So with these words, I would just like to stop my sharing, and if any questions I can. Okay. Yeah, there is one question, sir. How the technology innovation will impact on balancing the gap between traditional versus emerging system towards sustainability in higher education. See, higher education, there are two challenges here. One is that will robotics replace human beings as teachers in schools and colleges? Probably yes, for some of the aspects, but probably not, because the monitoring needs to be done by a human being. So here, the role of higher education, technical education, or higher education faculties would be more of a mentor role, where they would be problem solvers and problem guiders for the students, and they would be using technology, helping the people, helping the students look at problems from a different perspective, and then guide the students on how to solve it. So they would not be ideally teachers where they're covering the syllabus completely, but they would be the role would be different. They would be of mentors. They would be uh, changing the dimension of thinking of the student, and they would be making the student open towards innovation, changing the mindset of the students, and taking helping them take up projects which they have not taken up till now. So probably the role of technology would change here, but the role of people would not change. People would be of the would not change. I mean, but they would not be unemployed. They would be employed, but they would be rather focusing upon a different skill set altogether, which is mentoring. I hope I've given some satisfactory answer. Okay, any other question or any other view that anybody would like to share?
Participants, please share your observations or ask any questions if you have.
We are starting with a very innovative. I mean, we were waiting for the students to come offline. Here right now students are coming offline, so now we have started a very innovative thing, that every month we are having one visit to either an industry or to it's not an industry visit as such for gaining some knowledge, but it is a either to an industry or to a farm or to a village, to know their problems and to look at how we can solve those problems using our skills and technology. So this is something which we have started, and I think so if every institute or university starts this, then probably the society will benefit, entrepreneurs will be created, we will be creating engineers or professionals who are problem solvers, who have the vision of solving the problem, and we will not be creating such people who are unemployed, because they would be able to find jobs, because now industry also requires problem solvers and not problem creators. So this is something which we can follow going ahead.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful words. I would request Amrita ma'am for the digital memento.
Pritha, it's already shared.
Yes, ma'am, it's on the screen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Our next speaker for the day is Dr. Sarika Lohana. Dr. Sarika Lohana has around 18 years of teaching, research experiences, and has worked at various capacities such as assistant professor and assistant director training and placements. She is a certified smart trainer of securities and exchange boards of India in Mumbai. She has also worked with Kotak Securities and National Institute of Securities Market in Mumbai. She is the author of 4 books and has several publications in the Case Center in UK and in ABD's journal. She has also worked as an adjunct faculty at IIT Kottayam. Please welcome, ma'am. Sarika, ma'am, are you here with us?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Just give me a second, ma'am. I will share my screen. Am I audible?
Sure, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yeah, fine. Hope my screen is visible.
Ma'am, it's not yet visible. Yes, ma'am, we can see the screen.
Thank you so much, Praniti ji, for your warm welcome and your deep introduction about me. I welcome you all participants for this talk on design thinking, a key for research innovation. And recently, there are some of the statistics which I was going through. I felt that the problem, so far as research and innovation is concerned, the challenge which is being faced by the innovators or the entrepreneurs uh, is more in the line of, how to make those innovative tools or those innovative ideas that can really help the industry in their growth line. So in one of the survey, it has been also stated that, 84 percentage of the executives says that innovation is important to their growth strategy. But when the number is shown regarding the innovative campaignings or innovative initiative taken by the company for their growth and for their profitability, there are many challenges which are faced. In India also, there are many startups which have been found that initially they have their own innovative idea, but in the latter stage, in the long run, the ideas are not suitable for the market. But in addition to this, uh, it is especially important for the large corporation to look for a growth and even for their current market position to have a creative model for their firm in the line of maybe products or services. So innovation performance, according to Harvard Business School professor Clinton, he has stated that 75% of the products fails because of their innovation consistency, we can say, in the market. And according to the startup Genomen, he reported that 92% of the startups get failure because of the lack of proper innovative ideas or lack of proper innovative products. So this has given an idea to just scale up and the topic called design thinking. Design thinking is a buzzword, is a buzzword in the recent time. Whenever we are talking about research and innovation, we felt that this design thinking is, the topic which is more inclining into the startups, in the stand-ups, and not only to this, but also the corporates which are already in the market. So the learning objectives, which I will be covering here, covers acquire a deep understanding of the key concepts and principles of design thinking. And we will also discuss about understanding the mindset of a design thinker and acquiring a detailed knowledge about the design thinking processes, methods, and tools which are used in creative problem solution. So even in the last lecture, we have discussed more about how the innovative and the processing methods we can develop so that we can give a very good, customer-centric products and services to the population, to the large population, to the large mob of customers or consumers. Developing the skill sets and applying the design thinking mindsets and methodology and tools that can really cooperate us to improve the customer experience journey. So not only we can say it's a need of the company, but also it is very important from the point of view of students who are coming into the entrepreneur or who are coming into the, we can say they are joining the organization. The skill set is very important so far as design thinking is concerned. Not only in product related commodity, product related industry, but also in the service related organization. Now, the next objective is to learn how to improve this personal effectiveness by becoming a more empathetic service provider. So these are the key areas which I would like to share and discuss in this talk. The contents which I will be more focusing will be key concepts and principles of design thinking, mindsets of design thinkers, and design thinking process methods and tools. Okay, so a definition which has been quoted by Tim Brown. He is a pioneer of this topic, this concept. and he's a president of IDEO, who have give emergence to this topic called design thinking. Design thinking is a human-centered approach to innovation, and that draw from the designer's toolkit to integrate the needs of the people and the possibility of technology and the requirements of the business success. So, a complete definition of design thinking is quoted here, and meanwhile, we'll see one by one how these all approaches can be combined into that. Now, in the line of design thinking, as it has applied to the development of products and services to the whole range of problems, like it's not particular to engineering or it's not particular to management, but I have seen people using into the social entrepreneurial background, or they have used into the other segments or other sectors like IT or infrastructure or investments or in banking or in social entrepreneurship, even in media, entertainment, etc. So design thinking is not limited to engineering. It's beyond that. It's covering all the product range, the whole product range which is available in the market. And few of the brands, they are already using this design thinking in for their product development and service development. So this is how you can see the brands IBM, Bank of America, okay, and Ole, Pepsi, Google. They are using this design thinking currently for their product development. So let's have a differentiate. Let's differentiate between design thinking and human thinking. Now, no doubt we were talking about design thinking, but how it is, we can correlate it with the human thinking approach. Now, human thinking approach is more on to the personal or a person thinking approach, but when we are talking about design thinking, it's more about product designing and product development. Let us have one-to-one discussion on this. So design thinking is like we have a vision where we are talking about a future requirement of future requirement of product development or a service development, and we are trying to create a future. It's not already there, or it's there in some raw form, but we are developing it into the final touch, or maybe in a usable manner. There is a problem, definitely. The problem we are going to address in research, in innovation. We come up with a problem, we generate, we are more focused, we are more keen to highlight a problem, number one. Number two, then we start, having a creative thought process. No doubt, innovation involves design thinking. It's an inclusive approach in that. But we are more into now how to make this design thinking as a successful way of getting innovative, or a successful way of making our innovation more into usable, more into, we can say, empathetic, more into a successful product output or a successful service output. Now, the experiments which we do here in design thinking are to add on the values, value addition for the processes which we are doing, the processes which we are following in design thinking, which will create a value addition, and this value addition will help us to come up near to the. I request organizers to please mute
Participants,
all.
please mute your mic.
Yeah,
Please do
please
not
take.
disturb. Yes, ma'am, please continue.
Yeah, thank you so much for your support. Yeah, so I was just explaining how experiments here can help us to have a value addition to our final product development. And no doubt, feedbacks and repeated feedbacks until and unless we are about to solve that problem, or we are very close to solve that problem, or we are getting 100% outcome, we keep on getting the feedbacks and having a review of our processes. So this is what design thinking is. But when we talk about human thinking is more focusing on who is impacted, whose future we are going to change, okay, who will see the value solution, and it's more on person oriented. and who will be involved in this testing, feedbacks related to how they are, getting the satisfaction, and the outcome, like who will be finally getting this, output. So I think this definitions of human thinking and design thinking is very clear to you. More focusing on product processes, we think on design thinking, but when we think about human centric or personal centric, we talk about human thinking. Now, why design thinking is so important, dear participants? Because it makes us understand, and we do so much homework, and until and unless we are sure with our homework, we don't go and launch our innovation. That is the thing. So what kind of homework we do here, what kind of ground root work we do here is like, first of all, we understand the mindset of the people who are building this, for, right? For whom we are building this, who are the outcome users for this, right? And what is their mindset, what they are looking forward, right? Now, next is like developing a deep understanding of unmet needs. No doubt in innovation also we do that, in research also we do that. We have an unmet need, but again, we also consider that what could be, a wide and a fresh array of solution. Now, there are list of solutions. No doubt, we also develop a prototype for this, and we come to know that how this prototype can definitely meet the needs of our consumer, of our users, I can say. Avoiding the pitfall of imposing the wrong solution. What about imposing of wrong solution? So we make innovation, we do innovation, we prepare it, we try to, have certain models of it, and we try to push it into the market. So when you push it into the market, this means there is something wrong going on at the back end. See, when there is a demand and we have a demand from the side, one second. So there is a demand, right? There's a demand for certain XY product, right? So if XY product demand is there or services is there, and what about my supply? Maybe I am supplying with my innovation, right? Something creative I have written, I'm going to supply this. But do this supply and demand is getting matched? What is the thought process of the user? Do he really thinks that what he is demanding is really he is getting? Right? So avoiding the pitfall of imposing the wrong solution, that is the more keen concept here, why design thinking is more important nowadays. Now, sorry. So what is design thinking? We understood with the couple of slides which we have studied right now. Design thinking is the innovative practice of problem solving, and it's a process rooted into the sets of skills. Now, what are these skills? These skills includes, many activities that we'll see in the coming slides. But meanwhile, we'll see that it's a human-centered approach. So we are more into human-centered approach because we want that there is a problem. We know there is a problem. We need a solution, and human will be getting benefited of this. And it's a deep understanding about your customers. Why deep understanding about your customers? Because this is what you are going to provide the supply. Okay. So until and unless you are empathetic, you are in the shoes of your customer, how would you know what are their unmet needs and wants? So that could be done through observation, that could be done through interview, okay, that could be done through some survey, right? Maybe close-ended survey, close-ended questionnaire survey. So with this, you can make the understanding about how these understand or unmet needs and wants can be satisfied. It's not only based on the observation, dear participants. We will be more focusing on maybe having an interview process, maybe we can have a poll process, or maybe anything, the way we can have a data collection at the first level and can come up with the pilot study of what is the need of the customer in this line. Okay, so it encourages a creative consideration of wide array of innovation solution. So we got the problem, we have the problem. It's the problem is already, being stated by the customer by themselves, and then we are looking towards these solutions. So how the solutions will be? Definitely we'll have an innovative solutions because we are a design thinker. So think like a design thinker. You will find that yes, what is a creative solution from my end in this regard? Sorry. And it's as much as a mindset of a process. So you have a process behind that, you have a mechanism behind that, and it has a flow. There is a flow of process that you are going to follow to give up a innovative solution, right? So let's see what's the unique thing about design thinking, right? So we understood that human-centered issues are there. We are more focusing on this. Highly creative. Whatever the processes will be, those will be highly creative, but those will be hands-on too. That should be usable also. It's not only for a paperwork. It's not only for a patent process. It's not only for a documentation I will be doing this, but there should be a usability of, all these products which we are designing. So what's their hands-on experience of the customers? And iterate is a process where you are going to have a prototype of this. So iterative is nothing but the prototype that I will be developing for my module. And this prototype will be also having a testing part. Okay, so there will be a prototype which also have a testing element into this, and these all connect to make design thinking. So hope this is very clear, that human-centered approach. Then we have a highly creative model, and it should be in hands-on. And finally, it should have a prototype which can be tested and we can have a feedback of the customers, how it look like. Okay. So the skills associated with these steps will help the people to apply a creative to effectively solve the real world problem. So we are going to focus on real-time problems. So yes, the problem will be the solutions will be the real-time solutions, and this will be not only for the documentations, and practically we'll see that the consumers are giving you the feedback. Sorry. When we have a three lenses approach in design thinking, we are more focusing on like this is a process innovation, I can say. This is a documentation of process innovation where I'm checking what is the desirability. Now, what do people desire? What people are desiring? So I can have a question based on this, right? Even I can have a question on this, that what is the technical and the organizational feasibility? So a few questions based on this. And what about the viability? Do the project is financially viable? What is the cost element? Even in the last lecture, sir was explaining us that, Dr. Celeste has explained, what about the economic part? Okay, what about the, cost effectiveness of the project? Every industry need this. Every industry need a products or services which should be cost effective, okay, which can escalate your profit, which can also work on the pricing. What kind of pricing you are providing to the customer for your services, okay? And this is how pricing play a very important role, cost effectiveness play a very important role, and finally, even the profitability is also a very important role. So until and unless, suppose take an example, I'm having my revenue is very good, but my revenue is unable to convert it into profit. Do this project is viable? Yes or no, participants? Do this project is viable? Revenue is good, but profitability when it comes, I'm not good in that. I can't generate profitability out of this. So do this project is viable project? Sustainable project? Yes or no? Please reply in the chat box. Thank you so much for your responses. So that is not exactly the viable project. So for viability, this element will come when you are able to fulfill the desire of the customers. If the desire is fulfilled, definitely even the technicalities and the organizational feasibility is also supporting it, so that project could be financially viable. So for financial viable project, we have to check out the economic part, not only economic part, but the technological part, and also we have to check out sorry, the features that are that the product is having. That features should be as per the customer's expectations. So this will lead a healthy project, and that is, we can say, a viable project in all the grounds. Okay, so technology viability is there, financial viability is there, even organizational viability is also very important. So so this is a process innovation, on a detailed explanation of what we have discussed in the last slide. It's a process innovation, right? So now, whenever we have a design, any design, when we talk about innovation, okay, when we talk about innovation, these are the three lenses that innovation has to, more focus on. Okay, so let us understand. We can see here there is a business viability. So what is a emotional innovation? How emotional innovation happens? So emotional innovation happens when there is a combination of people and businesses. Okay, when you have a perfect combination of usability, desirability with the viability of the business, you create an environment that is called emotional innovation. There is a merging of what people want and need in the innovation. Okay, what people want and need in the innovation, and what business is providing. So when business is providing the same thing, then it creates an emotional innovation. Hence, if we are talking about the process innovation, so it's nothing but when we have a combination of people and technology. Now, how it is easy for the user to use it. Okay, and also, is it eco-friendly? Okay, and do it is fulfilling the needs of the customer, right? So fulfilling the need of the customer, is it a usable, and do the technology is supporting it? Okay, it is very easily, and even definitely it should also contribute into the cost effectiveness. So rather with this, we can go with the functional innovation. So functional innovation is a blend of business model and technology accountability. Now, if I say this part is a combination called functional innovation, where business viability or business models, whatever the business models are there, right? Many business models are not successful. So this business model plus technology support is creating a functional innovation. So these are the three main we can say merge of the viability and the feasibility and the desirability aspect. Okay, which gives us the three products, that is emotional innovations, functional innovations, and the process innovation. Yeah. Design thinking combines the process of creative and analytical thinking, where basically when a company wants to solve a problem, the company has to follow so many processes. But the process of design thinking is totally different, because we understand that it has both the understanding of analysis as well as creativity. Simultaneously, an individual has to work on both the parts. So first of all, one company, when it's working for a design thinking, has to focus on the problem of the customer, then understanding the problem of the customer through the stakeholders, and finally, not restricting to the business, but could also move on for the, we can say, on the social grounds, geographical grounds, cultural grounds, and even, beyond that also. Hence, this creative thinking and analytical thinking is a combination of right brain and left brain. We see that both of the hands, when we make it active, left hand actives the right brain, and right brain actives the left brain. So right hand actives the left brain. So with both of the hands, when we do activities, when we have a design thinking, we have a creative solution as well as the analytical thinking too. So this is what, how both the brains, they work actively and they provide a solution to the problem. Now, may I know, participants, on your screen, what you can analyze with this chart? This is, couple of six segregated charts are there on your screen. Can you please uh, share your understanding, what you are coming across with this chart, please? Anybody? What do you understand with this? Yeah. Anybody? Okay. Yes, exactly. Fine. When we have a raw data, thank you so much for your response. And when we have a raw, no doubts, no dots, no connection, no color combination, right? It's a plain dots, we can say, the first section. We say that is a data, right? Because it's an information. It's not an information, but it's there. It's there in the domain, right? When we say it's an information, when we segregate, when we analyze this data, maybe how many are female, how many are, before 20s, how many are from 80s, or how many are from 90s, like that. So that is the information we segregate from the data, okay, which is given different colors. When you connect all this information, maybe you create a logic behind that. You can see in the knowledge section, the dots which are having a connection, that creates a knowledge between among us, that yes, this is how this is happening, right? Insight is how, you get some uh, clue over there, that this is how we can have a conclusion of this. Wisdom is when you have a connection between the insights of the dots, okay? And finally, when you connect a beautiful creation of all these dots, is nothing but the creativity. That is called, we can have a problem solution type of thing. When we are creating some new thing with all the raw data which we are having with us, that can be concluded as a creativity. So with this small analysis I have did, and I have tried to give you an understanding that how a raw data comes to a creativity with all these processes. Now, in the recent time, we have seen there are many innovations been coming. So no doubt users, they have certain interface and they have certain experience too. If I talk about technology based innovations, right? So in technology based innovation, there is a user experience as well as user interface. When the user interface is there, we more focus on the layouts, visual designs, and even the branding part of this. But it is also connected with the user experiences, because what is a user story, what is the usability testing over there, and what is the user research, and how is the persona being developed over there. So this is very important to have a holistic approach in a design thinking. We should know the differences. To know the differences, Even in the technology research, we have to take both the understanding. First is how the user experiences is happening, and second is how the user interface is happening and how the customers are feeling about the technology usability. Okay. So what design thinking is not? Design thinking is not, because it's not only for a creative people. Do a layman, a common person, a person from a non-engineering background, a person from a management background, or a person from a social background can be a design thinker? Answer is yes. A design thinker should not, is very compulsion, should be a creative person or should be a product designer. It can be anybody, anyone can be design thinker. Okay, so how this design thinking can be, created in the mind of the students, until and unless students get the idea about there is a problem and how the solutions can be developed. And in this, if they have some creative thoughts of developing the solution in the new way, in the new style, okay, with a new approach, okay, so that is what design thinking needs. Okay, now a narrow equation of, aesthetic and craft, and it's not just a brainstorming session. No doubt brainstorming is the part of design thinking, but it's not completely a brainstorming session. It's not a completely brainstorming session, because we have to think beyond that. It's not only design, it's not a brainstorming session, but it's beyond that. It includes all other activities also with this. It's not a one day process, because problem solution is a continuous process. And that's why it's not only once you make a model and it is done. No, it's not like that. There are some changes in the model as and when it is needed. So it depends upon the usability of the user, how they are, identifying the experience of this product. It's not a process to replace with the analytical problem solving. So it's not a replacement of analytical thinking, but it's a combination of creative plus analytical. And it's not a silver bullet for all the types of problem. This means if I have one solution, it's not going to apply to all the problems, because it's not suitable for them, it's not feasible for them, and it's not going to have a proper functionality too. So, what are the benefits of design thinking one can get? The benefits are like, uh, it complements other problem solving techniques. Okay, it helps the organization to become more innovative, because here organizations start have empathizing the things, maybe whatever the stakeholders they are thinking. It's not only particular to customer, it's also, it can be linked with your stakeholders like employee, like your vendors, etc. So it includes everybody. It's not only particular to the solution of the customer, but it's related to all the stakeholders, right? It's related to all the stakeholders whom you are dealing. Even it can come with the investors also, the investors who are investing money in the company. For them also, you can use design thinking, right? So it helps the organization to be more innovative, okay, and solve the human problems, and to increase the customer satisfaction, or we can say should provide hassle-free services or hassle-free processes, and to gain a competitive advantage. The impact of design thinking, if you see the design value index, it's a bit older one, because I got the same database. So it has been observed that design thinking in the last pair of 10 years of this study, it shows that design thinking has got the value maybe plus 219% in the market, and it is growing, it's inclining day by day, because of the benefits for the organization to scale up for their revenues, and ultimately to their profit. Now, let's focus on the framework, the main structure of design thinking, how the model work. Okay, I need your attention here, participants. So empathize is the first step for this framework. Now, what is empathize? Let us see. Sorry. Empathize make us to understand that we want to understand the observations, we want to understand what the customer or the stakeholder is feeling, or what they want, what they are understanding with the company products and services. Okay, so we learn about for whom we are going to design it, number one, and what are the observations and the interviews, the data we have collected from them. Okay, so we are empathizing. The empathizing process is very keen process, because if you are not giving importance to this process, then everything will be, not been done properly. So the chain which is followed with this will be not completely achieved. Hence, you have to be very cautious about for whom you are studying this. Okay, what is their problem? What are their needs? Okay, and these you have to question, you have to answer this question before you go with this empathizing. So empathizing is the solution of your HW question. Okay, and now how to empathize this, how to empathize the how to empathize, you have to first of all go for observations. Suppose if I am focusing on the customers, my customer services, what they need, what they are feeling about my products. Okay, so I will, based on the observation, maybe I can judge this, or I can, engage, okay, in some interviews for them, okay, and even I can come up with the, you know, poll methods also for their feedback. So these are the methods where you can be empathetic and you can get the data collected to complete the process of empathizing. Okay, so empathizing is a very important aspect for understanding that, understand the customer's requirement or the stakeholder's requirement. Then comes define. What is define? Define is a mode where we have a process. Define is a process where we are getting a clarity about the focus of the design space. Okay, so define mode is more meaningful to have an actionable problem statement. So here we have an actionable problem statement. We develop a problem statement. Here we design a key problem, but here we develop a statement for the problem in defining. So here we are getting a key areas of problems, and here we are having an actionable problem statements which we are going to solve, right? That is called define. And then you get the problem of insight, point of insight. So what user need? Okay, what combination of insight he needs? User needs an insight. This is more focused. We have to create a point of view. This point of view is defined in defining stage. So it provides, number one, I'm writing here point of view, right? The point of view comes into defining stage, right? So what is defining stage talking about? So it provides focus and frame of the problem. Frame is what is the structure of the problem, which is the specific problem I am going to address. That specific statement has to be there. Inspire my team about the problem. So I inspire the team. And finally, I have informed criteria for evaluating my ideas. Now here I define that what is the problem, and finally, how I am going to reach to that problem, what will be the path I'm going to define, right? So this comes with the defining one. So define problem statement is also defined, then the path is also defined. Okay, the next is ideate. Ideate is uh, a, a challenge for the innovator. Why? Because it's a challenge to come up with the generation of the solution. Here you do brainstorming. So here brainstorming is done. Even there are some other activities, group activities you do. And this is how you come with the varieties of solution. Okay, so solutions are coming up, and these solutions you are just noting down with your ideates, like how many solution I have got for this problem. Okay, so you have to ideate it, you have to mention it, you have to come up with the creative solutions. And this ideate process is you can create with your concentration, and you have to go wide into this. You have to go wide into this. You are not going to restrict your mind. There will be no limitation. It will be a limitless thinking. It will be a limitless thinking process. Okay, so it is a limiting process where you are giving your brain a good exploration, that yes, how you can create your own solutions for the problem. Okay, so this contains ideation where you are leveraging the varieties of resources available to you to solve the problem, right? And after ideates is a rational way of thinking, wherein you allow your conscious mind and subconscious mind and or unconscious mind to understand the problem and imagine the solution of this. So imagination activation take place here, and you try to, imagine how the solutions will work. Okay, so the next step is prototype. Once you imagine, you will come up with the 10 solutions maybe, but every solution is not that perfect match to the problem. So to have proper perfect match for your problem, you have to see that which solution can be developed as a prototype, which solution can be developed as a prototype. So when we have an idea generation, and now how to show my idea, how to show my solution is the bigger challenge. So now you have to come up with a prototype, you have to scale up with the prototype, designing it. And once you design it, this is how you will show the presentation of the solution. Okay, it's not that in prototype it is said that don't talk, you just show. So don't talk about your solution, show it. So this is what prototypes say, that you don't need to go with just talking about your solution. You have to show your solution, how it look like. And then comes the part of the testing. But when we are developing a prototype, you have to think about that what this is communicating to the customer. So the communication is a very important part here. Then how to start the conversation, how to start, why this is needed, because it will start help you to how to start the conversation. And you will be, if you are failing in this, so you are failing in a cheap way. So it's only a prototype is going to get failed, not your final product. So prototype, even it is getting failure, so you are getting failure at the cheaper rate. And even here testing is also possible, and here modification is also possible. So you can modify your prototype as number as time at this stage, because you know that it's not going to affect your final product right now. Okay, so the last step will be testing of it. So why testing is important? Because testing is important to collect the feedback. Okay, what is working, how it is working, is it meeting with the customer's requirement, is it meeting with the customer's solutions, with their expectation, whatever the expectation managements are there, they are getting fulfilled. Yes. So testing mode is a very, very crucial mode when we do design thinking. So design thinking testing mode contains, we are refining a prototype and the solutions. Okay, so we are refining prototype and solution. We are learning more about our users, because in testing, if I give you to test how my dish is there, I have prepared some dish and I'm giving you for testing, so you will test and you will give your genuine feedback on this, how this is working. And if it is not working, then what I will do, I will refine my point of view. I have to change my point of view, and I have to see that yes, I have to again work out on my solutions part. So how to do testing? First of all, you can share your prototype to the people and checking their experiences. Ask users to compare with the other competitors. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to compare with the other competitors, because at this stage, if you compare with your competitors, definitely at the later stage you will be having a leading position in the competition. So ask your customer to compare with your competitors, create the experience of the customers, and also ask them to give their genuine feedbacks. So this is the 5-step framework of design thinking. Number one, empathizing. Number two, defining. Number three, ideate. Number four is prototype. And number fifth is testing. Okay. So empathizing is the first crucial step to know the problem, to know the key issue. Okay. If I sum up with this, how design thinking works. So second comes with the statement of problem. Okay. Third comes with the brainstorming activity, plus we are thinking on the solution in the innovation style. Fourth comes with a prototype, now implementing it in a testing format, and then testing and getting the feedback. If we are not using this process, what we are doing, we are just making all our modules, all our research innovations only for the sake of documentation. That is the thing. So design thinking approach make us to understand that yes, my innovation should be there in the market where people are using it. Okay, people should use it. Okay, now if I ask you, Arogya Setu app, okay? If Arogya Setu app you have downloaded during the COVID, may I know how many users are using right now Arogya Setu app? Anybody? Now I think we were in the Omicron phase where everybody is getting, infected to it. Anybody downloaded or re-downloaded that software and use it for checking out how many people are, infected with Omicron? Anybody from this room can reply in the chat box. Yes, no. How many yes? I will repeat my question. I want to know Arogya Setu app, which we were using in the time of, booking our uh, vaccination process. Okay. Apart from this, right now when we are having the Omicron phase of, infection, have we gone to the application and checking out how many people are Omicron affected, or do that app is helping us to check that? Yes or no? Yes or no? Any reply? Yes, no, maybe, anything. See, I think that is not my topic, how to get your patent registered. But even we can talk on this at a later stage after this completion of the slides. I will get back to you. So yeah, S. Kumar, sir. So yeah, so applications that are available, how many of them are in usability that I was about to check, and with the example of Arogya Setu app. So hence, if we understand the design thinking framework, we see that design action plan is a series of action phase which execute the design thinking process. And a mindset is a set of thinking traits, behavior that runs the design thinking process continuously and effectively. So the action plan and the mindset both are supposed to run together when we are doing this design thinking. So design thinking needs not only design action plan, but also the mindset of the thinker to think in that path so that they have a consistency and effectively, coming up with the traits and putting into the design thinking. So design thinking traits of design thinker, like we can see the design thinker has to, able to step up into the shoes of the customer. He has to be empathetic to the user and the stakeholders. Why not? And should have the, should have should like to challenge the status quo of the rebelliously, or we can say should have a control on the challenges and the issues. Then you should be able to ask the questions, right questions to the we can say users, and even should be able to sketch and draw instead of typing an email, right? So everything should be in the model format when you are doing a design thinking. It should be in a flow, we can say chart flow, or sketches or drawings or anything in a flow chart manner. Like to collaborate with the multiple disciplinary meetings instead of working in an silo, and should be able to come up with a big picture and think holistically and generate new idea and not afraid to share it. Do not afraid to share it, and find and reiterate the alternative approach of design desired goals, and willing to fail early and often. So it in innovation, you will find that failure is the part and the parcel of the process. It's not that everybody in the one go will get the hit to the solution. It's never, or it's a very rare case, I can say. But in research and innovation, you should see that it's a continuous process, and it's really that one should learn from his failures and should come up with the solutions. So as I told you that it's an activity based we can say problem solution technique. So what one need as a material and the tools. So we need a space for collaboration, but it is not a single activity, it's a group activity. What is design thinking? It's a group activity, it's not silo activity. You should be in a collaboration of the people, use paper, writing tools, cutting sketch, images, camera, sketchbooks, board, whiteboard, wallpaper, cards, etc. for making the prototype. So this is for prototype, that is we need it. And apart from this, we also have to see that a brainstorming process for the problem solving. Now, there is one activity which I have come up with, but now I would like to take this call, and I would like to give you an activity. Dear participants, for the next 10 minutes, I'm giving you an activity. You have to do a brainstorming, and you have to check out the problems that are there in the society or business or solution processes or situation, anything. Okay, and list out the ideas on the flip or maybe on a piece of a paper, and present your findings to the class in the next 10 minutes. We can have one-to-one discussion on this. So I just give you, maybe we can have a 5 minutes for this activity, not 10 minutes, we'll go for 5 minutes. I request you to just target some of the innovative idea for the problems which are being mentioned here. Any one problem you can lift, just pick up any one problem and come up with the solution. And if even that, in that case, you can show some creativity through a prototype will also work. For that, you can, if you are showing a prototype, you can take more 2 to 3 minutes for the presentation of prototype. Yes. Are you ready with this activity? Please reply in the chat box. I want everybody should participate. Yeah. So next 5 minutes for the activity. Yeah. So maybe next 2 minutes we can see participants can share their findings and their solutions, maybe by, you can on your video and you can share in the next 5 minutes. Yeah. So anybody has done with the activity? Yes. Anybody has completed it? Yes, no. Yes, no.
Participants, please respond.
Yes, anyone from here? Participants? Anybody has finished this activity? Completed this? Can you please on your video and share what you have did the brainstorming? Okay, so time is up. Can I get the results? Yeah. Who would like to share the result? Yes, of this activity. Anybody? Anyone from the audience? Yes. You can unmute yourself and you can talk, or you can show your video and you can share the brainstorming that you have did for the problem. Anybody? Yes. Vinita ji, are you there? Vinita? Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay, okay. So Vinita wants to present it. Yes. Vinita ji? Yeah. Anyone?
Can I present?
Yeah, please, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
May I know your sir?
Mithun.
Mithun.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. When it comes to society, I feel
Yeah.
government hospitals, what the people are suffering in the
Okay.
crowd of lack. I think that's the issue in the society. Lack of facilities are not there. So overcrowding in the hospitals is happening. When it comes to business and services, the same thing, in the same hospital also. Why the lack of services are being created due to lack of infrastructure facilities. So that is the issue. And when it comes to process and operations, it is also simultaneously with respect to same only government hospital only. Why it's happening? Because due to lack of all lab facilities or something and all, there is no concentration on the such government hospitals. When it in situations means the public will complain if any, for example, COVID had happened. It was a situation thing. Suddenly, the full public were rushed into hospital, but the situations were like that. But they could
Yeah.
not handle. So there was
So this comes about the problem, like what solution we can suggest here. This is a problem, na?
yeah.
The problem related to government hospitals, right, sir?
Yes.
So
Yes.
now, what solution we will suggest for this? What's the solution process we can suggest?
So I feel we have to give the required basic infrastructures first. This infrastructure may be involve human infrastructure like doctors and all, or machinery infrastructure like labs. So it depends.
Okay. Okay. So no doubt this processes has to be very, very rigorous, because in government hospital always they think it that is take it at granted that they get funds also, but the utilizations of funds are not effective, or maybe the administration part, I can say they lack in administration part. So that is related to the government officials also, how they can improve their administration processes, right?
Yes.
So maybe for this, if we can have this solution, this problem solution plus something technological application, right? Where
Yes, true.
we can give an administrative staff, or maybe the senior dean or the administrative officers can get an application where they can track the services which are provided in the government hospital by themselves, and the quality ranking of those from the
Yes.
customer side. So if
Yes.
customer feedback is directly going to the administrative staff, definitely this administrative staff will get the information about this. So not only the head of the hospital, but also maybe some municipal corporations, the head
Yes.
of the municipal corporation, if he also get the feedback updates, that what people in the society, the public is giving feedback regarding these facilities. So
Okay.
even this is not the solution exactly, but still we can support this problem by facilitating this information to the respective authorities. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mithun sir, for contributing here. And anybody else would like to come and talk? Yes. Anyone else wants to come and talk or wants to share his or her feedback or their idea? Yes. Yes. Anybody else would like to come and contribute here? What's their brainstorming process they have did for the problem? Any problem? So one thing is very much important when we are analyzing any issue, problem, right? So while we are mentioning that what the customer, what the end user is thinking about the services and the products they are buying or they are utilizing it, okay, and our business cannot provide that services, cannot provide that solution, okay. So hence we have to bridge that gap, and that is what the innovation is. That is what where the scope of design thinking is there. And when empowering people or students to be entrepreneurship, to be have a choice of entrepreneurship, all these faculties who are there in this room, you should encourage students to be more have a creative or having an idea of entrepreneurship, because they should understand that they are not only the job seeker, but they can be a job provider too. In our economy, in our Indian economy, we need more job providers than the job seekers. So we have to change this mentality of the students, and even government is also taking so many initiatives to Atal Yojana, and there are other incubation centers also being established to encourage youth for coming up with their innovative ideas. How we can escalate this in the students, I can say, first of all, we should give them the idea how to identify the problems in the market. Just right now, Mithun sir has very well stated the problem, but there are so many problems lying in the market. First of all, we have to create the idea generation. Then we have to also you see the student has to also check with the opportunities and the resources available for them. Then they have to come up with a team building, because it's not a one man show. They need a team for this. Once they come up with a team, then there will be a prototype development, market research. Without market research, you cannot post your or you cannot pitch your product in the market. Then iterating it, having a business model, and finally pitch the product in the market for making it more visible in the for the customers. So to how to create an idea, one can come up with new product launching or services, where you have to check out what are the products which are existing in the market, and how your product is different out of this. The way of existing, maybe there are many products in the market which are similar to you, but in that case, what is value addition I can provide here, which can have a separate segmentation of customers can be attracted over there. Sometimes market will not adjust you with your features, but no doubt you have to change your understanding over a period of time, and you have to pitch your product with the varieties of innovative style of pitching it. I will give you here an example of Kellogg's. I remember in 3 decades back, when Kellogg's got launched in India, nobody used to, use that product into their breakfast, because Indian breakfast was a very traditional type of thing. In South, people have idli, dosa, and all. In North, people take parathas and all. In West, again vada pav and all. So you will find that uh, in India, so far as breakfast is done, that there is a cultural breakfast support, because everybody will have a traditional way of having breakfast. But then Kellogg's, they come up with a pitching of this Kellogg's product in the Indian market with the problem of Indian society that was getting escalated in the past 2 decades, and the problem was obesity. obesity a big problem of the youth, or the problem which is of the middle-aged people, which they are more conscious about, about their health, and slow down in the last 1 decade. You have find that people are now more conscious about their diet, their exercise pattern, and the way they live. Okay, and this has given a very good pitch to a scope of pitching Kellogg's, where they have come with the diet plan or dietitian or nutrition elements in Kellogg's, we can say. Even there was one more pitch which was given by Kellogg's, was the same product, but with some different blend of it. They come up with Kellogg's for their kids, like as a small snacks, while taking a snack, kids go for having noodles, or going for taking biscuits and all, which are more of maida, or we can say flour products. So to avoid this, that was a more cause of obesity too. Parents were more keen to see that their children should have an iron product. This Kellogg is more into iron richness. That's why that was a shift into the market by customers. They trying purchasing this Kellogg's product. So this is how the pitching is also very important. Until and unless your idea is very good, your process is also very good, everything is very perfect, but you are unable to pitch this product into the market, you cannot sustain in the market for a longer period of time, dear participants. So with this problem solution, too, we'll go with the one more quote that is by Albert Einstein. He stated that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the different results it every time. So this is how, when we use this insanity in our research, definitely every time, whenever we are applying so many things to our problem processes, we will find that we are getting good results and the different outputs for our processes. Now, what kind of mindset that one carry in design thinking is, first of all, the think user first is, he needs to understand the need of the problem, and even who is going to get benefited. Then asking the right question, because until and unless you ask the right question to the people, that what they want to express themselves regarding the product, you can't check out that thin line of research that is called the statement of the problem. And then you have to draw that line, you have to draw that sketch of statement, and finally you have to come with the ideate of it, how you are going to solve this problem, and finally you have to go with the prototype of testing. So thinking mindset here starts with, first of all, you have to think from the user's point of view, what their observations, what their thinking process. Then second, what kind of questions you are going to raise, which can give a definite explanation about what customers really want from you. And finally, then drawing the line, and you have to make your own bracket, that this is what you are going to focus. Maybe a customer is having 100 complaints, but all the 100 complaints cannot be attended at a single time point of time. Out of that, you have to now be very narrow. You have to take out the niche area where you are, which problem is the most at the higher priority, and which has to be get addressed immediately. That will be your focus point. And finally, then you have to follow the ideate and the prototype process. We are discussing now very important element of design thinking, and that is design phase has a two-diamond approach. So what is this two-diamond approach, dear participants? Let us understand. Can you see this diamond figure here? So this diamond figure here is again, splitting all this framework into this diamond approach. Now, what happens at the empathizing space? In the empathizing space, we have a divergent thinking. What is divergent thinking? We are thinking broadly. We are keeping our mind open. We are considering each and everything which is coming into our, in our process. But now, in this problem phase, this divergent creates all. Like I told you, know, there are 100 problems with the customers. Okay, so we list out all these things. But are we going to address all these 100 problems? Answer is no. So at a time, we may have one or two problems with us, and this is called convergent thinking. What is convergent thinking? Now I am thinking narrowly. I'm focusing on only one or two key problems that I want to address with this innovation process. Okay, so this is called convergent of thinking, and which comes under to define, right? Now, what is again divergent? Now I have come up with a statement, and this statement is very clear that I want to solve this problem. Now, let us talk about the solutions. So, am I going with one statement, one solution? No. First of all, I will figure it out, like if I have a problem, there are one or two problems, how many solutions I can come up with this, and which is the best alternative solution, that will be the second issue. But first of all, identifying how many solutions I can provide. So list out all these solutions, and that is called divergent of the ideas. So divergent of the ideas, again, it is called as, we can say, I'm thinking broadly, and I'm having an ideation how to develop the process, and this is why this is called a divergent thinking. Now, again, what I will do, I will narrow the process. Narrow the process of solution. Maybe for one problem here I have 50 solution. For second problem also I have a 50 solution, but these solutions will not work. Hence, I have to come with the one solution, and that could be the conversion of the processes. When I have a conversion process, which is called is how I am going to develop, I will develop a prototype here. And this prototype will be one or two, maybe a related one, or maybe one prototype for both the solutions, which is coming into the conversion testing. And then finally, the testing of the prototype. So hence, the first diamond is called the problem space. The second diamond is called solution space. So we have seen what is double diamond approach. If you understand this double diamond approach, please reply in the chat box, dear participant, DDA. If you are okay with this approach called double diamond approach, you understood this approach, please reply in the chat box, DDA. Please reply in the chat box, DDA. Double diamond approach of design thinking. Yes, participants, your responses are appreciated. Please reply in the chat box if you have understood this double diamond approach, that is DDA. The same DDA approach is there. How we do here is, we are suppose doing it for a banking company or a banking firm. So we'll have a research, we have a data collection, and then we'll have a synthesizing of it. We'll go for an insight, then we'll create a hypothesis, and finally we'll have a prototype and a design thinking for the solutions. So again, there are the varieties of double diamond designing, like double and blind thinking. So here we have a discover the problem, defining the focus, develop the solution, and deliver the solution, right? Now we have understood this summary of design thinking action plan. We have already did this. Just to make you understand how activities can be done here, I will just spend my few minutes here. So empathizing, you use the user interview, informal chats, observation, shadowing. Okay, then even you can go for picture talking. Okay, how to define? You can define through the workshops, or you have a shareholder meeting, or you can come up with the solutions with your discussions. Ideation comes with brainstorming, workshop, mind mapping, and sketching and drawing. So this is how you can use the activity for design thinking approach. And this is how the mapping comes, empathetic mapping. You come up with so many solutions of the problem. Okay. What is power of point of view. So point of view where you have a user, you know the need, you have an insight also, right? So like I am a college student and I hate folding laundries because I can't seem to fold it right away. So this is how the user is there, its need is there, and its insight is there. So developing a powerful or strong POV is a very challenging activity, but it will help you to understand the future requirement of your project. So this is an example of bank. Like take an example, bank give you online payment. Even you can go for in-person channels, pay by email, and even you can pay the bill by touching points. And nowadays you have applications also which are included in the payment systems. Ideation method. So we have seen diversion is and conversion processes. We create choices, we make choices in conversion. Okay, so in diversion process, you go for brainstorming process. There is one more process called NICA. So NICA is a process where you do SWOT analysis for your problem, and it's a Japanese technique. Even NHK is also a Japanese technique where you are, coming together and you have all the ideas, but you are mixing all your ideas like you're beating your eggs in a bowl. Similarly, you will beat all your ideas into the bowl, and this is how you can come up with the NHK technique. Okay, for pushing boundary, scamper is one more technique where everybody is asked to, think in the process. It's an active process where everybody comes in the cooperative learning phase. What if is a situation based activity where the situation is given to all the audiences, all the participants, and they come up with their own solution and insight how they will handle this we can say situation. Conversion method, you go for a prioritization map, affinity, and idea evaluation process. With this, you come to the choosing your right solution for your problem. Prototype, you can come up with a storyboard. This can also be done as a solution for your problem. And these are some of the prototypes I would like to share here, like before design thinking and with design thinking. This is also a prototype. Even McDonald's also have come up with a chaos for as an output for the design thinking. Design thinking was applied by the government school teachers in the process of COVID, where they have found it's challenging to teach the students, so they have come with this process of design thinking for the school students in Dumka district, Jharkhand. This is an example of design thinking in schools. So design is not what it look like or feel like, it's how it works. Design thinking is like design is a how it works exactly. Well quoted by Steve Jobs. So in short, I would like to just give you an insight from a case study of State Bank of India, where they have used enterprise design thinking approach. The problem was that many of the bank customers grew their wealth in the recent years, but bank, where they are looking for the financial freedom and the new opportunity, how they can grow, or how the bank can, reach to the customers with an effective way, with a strong technology backend. So they have come with a solution where they have, bank has around 491 million customers and around 260,000 employees and 22,500 branches worldwide. There's 17 local head offices and 101 zonal offices and 108 foreign offices in 36 countries with 76 business units. So this is how their functionality is there. And they have come up with the solution component where they have purchased the IBM solution for their backend process, where they are, escalating their performances to increase we can say a very good experience for their customers. So what is finally design thinking? It's nothing but a human-centered approach, collaborative, optimistic, and experimental approach. And So this is from my end. I'm open within a question answer session now. I request all the participants to please park their question in the chat box.
Participants, please put your questions in the chat box, and the link for feedback form is given there. Please fill it up.
Yeah. And the line of feedback, how did you like the session, is also appreciated in the chat box, please. Are there certificate program which you are talking about paid? Are they only workshops or they are certificate program? If they are certification program, you can definitely go ahead rather than a paid workshop. Thank you. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you.
Thank you for such an engaging session, ma'am. I would now request Amrita ma'am to present the digital memento.
Sarita,
Sarika
ma'am, please stop the screen sharing.
Yeah. Just give me a moment, ma'am. Yeah.
Hello, Pritha ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. The screen is
We have
visible.
shared the digital memento.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for your excellent session. This is for you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, for your presence today. We'll begin again tomorrow at 1 p.m.
Thank you, madam, and thank you, Shailesh sir, for today's session. And on behalf of our full team of GKCM, I would like to thank all of you for joining us, and please join again tomorrow also as per the schedule. And I repeat, feedback link is also given in the chat box as well as in the YouTube live also. So all are requested to fill up the feedback form every day, because on that basis we will be given the certificate also at the end. So thank you all. So we are ending our program today here, and we will meet again tomorrow. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.